Today I'm dropping the modified version of my Sonic Shred that I used to place top 10 in the global ranking for Druid. Using this build, I was able to get over 1 million points in the first week of Gauntlet, and I'm going to be showing you the recording of that run from start to finish. I did the entire run on controller with no macros, no exploits, and with fairly limited mechanical skill, but I do my best. Now if you want to see the specifics of the build, I'm going to link you to a Mobalytics guide below the video. And here I'm going to talk about why I made some of the choices I made, and also give you a chance to watch my 1 million point run. So let me break it down for you. Now if you're already familiar with Sonic Shred, previously I used Hunter Zenith in order to get the resets on my trample. But because of the easy access to the shrines in the Gauntlet, I didn't actually need the extra cooldown. So instead I opted for Eridas to pull enemies closer together. The first week of Gauntlet had a lot of big rooms with lots of enemies in them. I'm not 100% sure if I'll be using this in week 2, but it's extremely useful once you have a lot of enemies spawning all over the place. I also needed more speed, so I opted for a one-hander and offhand with accelerating. I also removed my shepherds from my amulet in order to go for metamorphosis here. Now I actually never got a max metamorphosis, and this really annoyed me because it was preventing me from getting a higher score. But you work with what you get. I also started the week with Godslayer, but I ended up going with Harlequin Crest for the pure reason that Godslayer was causing enemies to get pulled together in a spot different from where I was standing. Because I was using Eridas, I wanted the enemies to come to me, but this would cause a weird reaction where I'd use Petrify, and the enemies would get Godslayered to a different location. I also adjusted my spirit boons, my skill tree, and my Paragon boards, and you'll be able to find all of the detail for the Paragon boards in the written guide. But basically I went through and I stripped out a lot of the unnecessary defense and tried to get as much damage as possible. It's surprisingly still a fairly tanky build. Now you'll see this in the video, but the reason we're using Metamorphosis on our amulet is because we want to be able to constantly dash whenever we get the shrine buff. And by shrine buff, I mean the channeling buff specifically. Because when you have the channeling buff, you're going to be able to dash constantly, assuming that you have 3 dashes on your boots. Now, if I was somebody that happened to have max movement speed on my amulet, then I wouldn't need to have Metamorphosis here necessarily. I could opt to take out Ghostwalker, get my shepherds back on my amulet, and go for some extra damage. But for that, I probably would have wanted to have a max Metamorphosis, and also finding an amulet that has everything I want on it, including max movement speed, is pretty hard. To be honest, when Gauntlet came out, I wasn't even planning on doing it, but then Cocosaur got so invested in it that I wanted to help her out. So I was playtesting the Gauntlet to try and help her, and I ended up getting a decent score, so I was like, what the heck, I'll try and go for a top 10. The unfortunate part was most of my gameplay in the week had to go towards farming Forgotten Souls and farming Obols so I could try and get a max Metamorphosis. Now I'm going to let you watch the uncut gameplay of my 1 mil run, but if you like my content, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And you're going to want to join my community Discord because I'm going to be dropping my recommended route as well as any other tips and builds for each week of the Gauntlet. And that's at discord.gg/Screamheart. Alright, enjoy the gameplay and I'll see you in the next video.